Ahead at ABC6 News, first at 4, a light at the end of the tunnel. An update on the temporary fix for westbound traffic on the Washington Bridge. Plus, an armed robbery in Seekonk. The suspect police arrested after tense moments holding him at gunpoint. And a pedestrian hit and killed in a busy intersection in Somerset last night. New details this evening from the district attorney.
This is Southern New England's trusted news source, ABC6 News, first at 4.
First at 4, a live look over Providence on this Thursday afternoon. The shutdown of 195 West at the Washington Bridge continues this evening. Now, there may be a glimmer of hope in this commuter crisis. Crews busy working on temporary lanes to get traffic on 195 West over the Washington Bridge. Those bypass lanes were originally going to be open in a couple of weeks, but DOT Director Alviti now saying they will likely be open this weekend. The lanes will be taken from 195 East, which means there will be 2 eastbound lanes and 2 westbound lanes. Thanks for joining us at 4. I'm John DeLuca. Today, Governor McKee is on Federal Hill as small businesses struggle because of the commuter crisis on the Washington Bridge. ABC6 News reporter Josh Kerman is following the governor today. Joined us now live on the Hill. Josh, what do you have?
Sorry, I'm going in that direction, so.
John, over the last few days, I've been speaking with local businesses, feeling the impact of gridlock and hour-long delays. Business owners telling me this loss of business during one of the busiest times of the year could not come at a worse time. Businesses as far as East Greenwich seeing a rise in canceled parties, canceled orders, and appointments, leading to serious losses as we get through the holiday season. Officials from the Department of Commerce urging the public to shop local as gridlock eases up across the state.
So I can't emphasize enough that travel times have decreased, particularly since the first day. So please, please, please do not abandon your local businesses. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time to get there. We need to have our businesses supported now more than ever. Many of our businesses earn 50% of their income in the month of December. And so to have them be hit so hard during this particular month, it's going to really affect them during the winter months.
Small businesses are encouraged to reach out at 521-HELP with any reported losses so they can get help if funding becomes available. Tanner also says they need more businesses to reach out as they try and collect more data. Governor McKee, Mayor Smiley, and Secretary Tanner are all expected to be here in Providence this afternoon to talk about the impact on small businesses. We'll have coverage on that coming up tonight on ABC6 News at 5. For now, live in Providence, Josh Kermit, ABC6 News.
All right, Josh, thank you. We'll see you at 5. Now to the latest on the effort to get westbound traffic across the bridge as soon as possible and reduce congestion through East Providence as much as possible. ABC6 News reporter Caitlin Gelhaus is tracking that part of the story.
We learned from officials today that starting Monday, there will now be a ferry service running between Bristol and Providence from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. It's not just one ferry service, but 3 ferries total that will work on half-hour leave times that will create the capacity to transport 500 passengers an hour. RIDOT has coordinated with RIPTA to have shuttles to take people from the ferry landing at India Point Park to Kennedy Plaza and to the train station. And at the other end in Bristol, people will be taken by bus from Colt State Park to the ferry. We caught up with one person who works in Providence and likes this plan.
I think it's a great idea. And you know what? People may find a much more reasonable alternative to being in the car all day and, contributing to the carbon footprint, and might even have some social interaction on a ferry ride, which is a little more interesting than just being in the car by yourself.
Director of RIDOT, Peter Alviti, said that it is his goal to start the service Monday, but bad weather and other factors could always impact the start date. Stick with ABC6 News both on air and online for the latest as we continue to get updates. For now in Providence, I'm Caitlin Gelhaus, ABC6 News.
The Rhode Island Department of Health is now recommending that pregnant women who are in labor and on the closed side of the bridge to call an ambulance if they have to get to a hospital in Providence. Spokesperson for the Department of Health saying women who are in labor should first call their doctor and determine if they do indeed need to get to a hospital in Providence. If the answer is yes, call 911 and then ask for an ambulance. Emergency vehicles are cleared to travel westbound on the closed Washington Bridge.
EMS crews are prepared. They carry necessary equipment to treat obstetrical emergencies. They carry obstetrical kits to help deliver newborns in the field. They are skilled at all levels in order to do that, both normal births and complicated births as well.
Many of the East Bay emergency services have added extra staff and ambulances to prepare for the delays in the days since the bridge closure. East Providence, in fact, has added 24/7 ambulances, 2 of those. Meanwhile, the Rhode Island Short-Term Housing Association is offering reduced rates to commuters who have been negatively impacted by the bridge closure. Members of the organization have agreed to discount room stays by up to 50% for those who can't afford the extra time added to their commute. A listing of discounted properties and more information on applying are available on the association's website. All this commotion has some residents worried about their packages ahead of the holidays. ABC6 News reached out to UPS about anticipated delays, and according to a spokesperson for UPS, their deliveries are not being impacted somehow by the closure of the Washington Bridge. Stay with ABC6 News on air and online for the latest developments in this developing and ongoing story. All right, let's get a check on the forecast now. Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Benson joining us live in the Weather Center. It was cold today, yes, but it was nice and sunny and really not a lot of wind.
Really, John, the wind makes such a big difference this time of year. It can be, say in the 30s like today and not a ton of wind, or it can be, low 40s and very breezy out there, kind of like what it was yesterday. And I would argue at times it did feel colder yesterday than what it does out there today. So let's take a quick look at your weather headlines here. Not nearly as cold tomorrow. That is excellent news. This is a quick little cold spout. We've got more sun on Saturday than we do on Sunday, but both days are looking to be dry. Then could we have deja vu again on our upcoming Monday? A rain and windstorm will be passing through just like it did earlier this week. Will it be as strong? There's still, the jury out on that. I'll break it down a little bit more coming up in a bit, but it's then turning dry and colder after that. And again, deja vu, much like it did this week. Dry and chillier. Morning lows, wow, it was a cold start to the day. We were all the way down to the 20s everywhere, but the low 20s northern portions of our area. Look at Smithfield, 23 degrees to start the day, up to Worcester, barely hanging on to the 20s. It was a little bit closer to 30 along the shoreline. Right now we're looking at 34 here in Providence, 36 in Kingstown, 34 in New Bedford, Falmouth, and all the way out towards the Cape as well. 33 in Plymouth, 35 up into Boston. There are your winds right now. Again, 5 to 10 miles an hour, not really gusty at all today. So at times, especially out of the shade, it has felt pretty nice. We have plenty of sun expected for the next several days. No real weather to talk about. You see those arrows, that is what's bringing in that colder air, that north wind. But that's going to give way to some warmer weather to the south as high pressure builds in. And there's that weekend storm. Doesn't look like much now, but it will in a few days. We'll be back in a bit with the full weather, John.
All right, Jeff, thank you. New tonight at 4, Seekonk police arrest a man after an armed robbery at a liquor store. It happened last night at Wynn Liquors just after 10. According to police, Gary Tallow of Johnston threatened the clerk with a knife, assaulted that clerk, stole cash, booze, and cigarettes. Police then chased after Tallow and held him at gunpoint, demanding he drop the knife. He eventually did, and now faces 7 charges, including assault with a dangerous weapon. Police investigating another armed robbery last night, this one in Fall River. According to Fall River Police, it happened right around 9 at Atlas Smoke Shop right on Hope Street. Police say the suspect showed a knife before stealing money and taking off. East Bridgewater police grabbed 2 men after a drug deal. According to East Bridgewater Police, 24-year-old DeAndre Rodriguez charged with trafficking fentanyl, among other charges. A 32-year-old from Duxbury was also charged with conspiracy to violate drug law. Police say they saw the drug deal going down, and while searching Rodriguez's vehicle, officers say they found 40 grams of fentanyl, crack cocaine, and a lot of cash. Now to an ABC6 News update. A man is dead after being hit by a vehicle in Somerset last night. According to police, there it happened on Wilbur Avenue, right at the corner of Brayton Ave, around 9:30. Police say the driver of a pickup truck was going through the intersection when he hit 55-year-old Matthew Martinville. Martinville was pronounced dead at Charlton Memorial Hospital. The driver did stay at the scene and called 911. No charges have been filed yet as police continue to investigate. Before we go to break, if you see something in your community that you'd like to share with us here at ABC6 News, you can do so by sending your videos directly through our Now Local News app. Download it today by searching Now Local News or by scanning the QR code on your screen. Still to come on ABC6 News, first at 4, remembering the Sandy Hook victims 11 years later. Plus, the Supreme Court will re-enter the abortion debate, what they're taking up this time. And U.S. National Security Advisor is on the ground in Israel, what he hopes to accomplish while there. You're watching ABC6, Southern New England's trusted news source.